If you're a busy professional man and you heavy sweat tired of what you see in the mirror, this video is for you. Most men make the same fat loss mistake over and over again. In this video, I'll show you exactly how I eat to build muscle, lose fat, and get a lean, athletic physique without making fitness my entire life. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button because I'm making a new video about weight loss advice for men every single week. I use these strategies to lose 60 pounds in 8 months. I kept them off for 13 years and I've helped dozens of men just like you lose up to 60 pounds and finally escape the yo-yo dieting cycle. And if you're tired of constantly losing and gaining the same weight, I want to help you get to your healthy self without giving up the foods that you love. First, you need to understand that no matter what weight loss diet that you are trying to hop on, that could be keto, carnivore, it could be soup diet, some of the diets are just unsustainable, is that you need to have a calorie deficit in order to lose weight all around your body. And to be able to lose weight, you need to maintain this calorie deficit over a long period of time. And you also need to understand that there's something that's called macros. Macros where there's like protein, there's carbs, there's fat. Above all the calories that you're getting, protein is the most important in my opinion, because this is also the most satiating protein sources. Because if you are trying to lose weight, you want to get as much protein, like say 45% of the daily calories coming from protein, because you are satiating your cravings even more and you are building more muscle through a high protein diet. If you want to become the most healthiest version of yourself, just like you saw with me and my client transformation in the beginning of the video, there's a link in the description and also in the comment section where you can apply for coaching with me, and we'll see if you and I are fit to work together and I can help you build a game plan to lose the weight for good and having less cravings. Because if you are having a lot of cravings, no matter how your calorie deficit diet is, you are going to end up screwing up your calorie deficit because you're just eating way more than your calorie deficit allows you. So if you also want to have a great diet where you can sustain your energy levels and recover after you've been working out in the gym, you need to have 40% of the daily calories coming from carbs, because carbs can help you with, for example, give you the more energy that can help you lose weight faster and also have a stable blood sugar throughout the day, because that is just required as a man who is working a full-time job, because you need to have like a mental focus to be able to work out these projects and be able to be very conversational throughout the day. So the first thing I'll do is I go to something that's called a macro calculator, where you're figuring out your age, your gender, your height, your, for example, your weight, and also your activity levels. Through that, you're figuring out what your maintenance calories are to maintain your current weight, and then from there you're just figuring out how to make a protein diet that is 45% daily calories come from protein, 40% from carbs, and the rest is just fat. Then you already have like the essential, and then you want to mix up your calories with, for example, something that's called MyProtein, where you can create your own meal plans, and you need to have a premium subscription. So what I usually do is that I put in the necessary numbers for me, and then I'm subtracting 300 and 400 calories from my maintenance, because that puts you in a calorie deficit. So you make 3-4 meals in one meal plan, and you also make 1 or 2 meal plans more, because if you are able to rotate between the meal plans, it makes it easier to stick to this calorie deficit. Because sometimes when you are just eating the same things all the time, it makes very bland and you feel like you are restricting yourself too much, and that's not going to help you have this long-term sustainable weight loss, especially if you are having a family or girlfriend and you want to go out and eat other stuff. That makes it easier for you to be able to be flexible. And in order to have this meal plan that you really enjoy, I usually eat very simple meals. For example, the first meal is after I've been working out in the gym and doing like my weight training with, for example, the strength training. That puts a lot of stress on my nervous system. I'm feeling very depleted because I've been depleting my glycogen store. So I need to have at least 40 grams of carbs to recover my glycogen stores and be able to fill my up, so I'm recovering faster. And also because I've been breaking down all the muscle tissues, I need to recover faster. And the best thing that you can do for yourself is have at least 30 grams of protein into your first meal, because that is going to recover faster and you're going to build muscle tissues even greater, and you're getting more stronger and better muscle mass. and then you are going to build more muscle and lose weight even faster. So what I usually do is that I am also consuming very little fat, because if you are having a high fat diet, you are just feeling that a lot of the calories you're getting is not satiating enough. What you want to do is that you want to have lower calories in all your foods and high intensity, so you are getting a lot of food but you feel that you are feeling very full throughout the day. If you are having like 100 grams of bacon every single of your meals, it's a very high in calories and low in density, so you are just eating all your calories for very little and you're feeling hungry very fast again, especially late at night. So the first meal I'm having is 60 grams of quality protein. That could be from My Protein. That is the brand, and that is distributing whey protein in all around the world. And then I'm having, for example, 400 grams skim milk. I just blend them together and make a milkshake, because it's just easy for me to consume a lot of protein very fast. And then afterwards, I'm having at least 4 slices of whole wheat bread with some low fat butter, and also I put some low fat Nutella on top on 2 of them, and then 2 slices of whole wheat bread with, for example, low fat butter. That's just easier for me to consume because I'm getting a lot of carbs, and this whole wheat toast is also slowly digestible, so my energy levels is just getting very slow release throughout the day, so I am able to function a lot, and I'm also recovering faster after working out. And then that's like the first meal, and then 2 hours later or 3-4 hours later, I'm having a bowl of whole wheat pasta. That could be 100 grams of whole wheat pasta, and then I'm putting in some, for example, veggies. That could be, for example, frozen wok mix. The reason why I'm gravitating over to frozen foods is easier for me to put into the fridge that I have at home, and then it's just putting into, boil some water and put it into the pasta that I've cooked. And you always want to cook you also want to make sure that you are weighing all the foods before they are cooked, because the amount of calories that is on the nutritional labels, they are when the food is not cooked, and it's easier to, for example, weigh and track all the foods. Because if you are, for example, cooking all your foods already and you're putting too much oil and butter into the food, it's very difficult to track the food, so you want to have it as clean as possible. And I'm also, for example, having 200 grams of lean chicken breast, because it's very lean in protein. For example, 100 grams of lean chicken breast is like 23 grams of protein, and if you have 200 grams of that, that's like almost 50 grams of protein. And then I have 3 eggs in this meal as well, because eggs is just a high quality protein source that helps you hit your protein intake. And I'm also have like 100 grams of salmon, like in pieces on the side, or I'm mixing it together with the eggs. So that's already, you're getting a lot of protein just through that. And then I'm also having a protein cookie, because normal cookies is delicious, but I want to treat myself with something chocolate chip protein cookie where it's high in protein. One of these protein cookies are most likely 25 grams of protein, and the amount of calories like 200 calories. So that's going to satiate my hunger levels. Sometimes I'm just not eating the protein cookies at that meal. I'm waiting like in the afternoon, because my energy level is just dumping down, because that's a perfect time for me, and not saying yes to cookies or muffins that if you are working a full-time job, you're just not having that. So you're just having this protein cookie with you that can help you reduce the cravings of eating a lot of shit at work that puts you above your daily calories. So this high protein cookie is just being a lifesaver for me. And I know that if you're someone who is a ambitious professional man working a full-time job, and you want to get, for example, more confident and look what you see in the mirror and pictures, you also want to have a lot of energy, You need to be able to structure your meal plans, eating the foods that you really enjoy. What I'm sharing is foods that I really enjoy, but sometimes if you are someone who don't like the same foods that I can consume, you can just use this MyFitnessPal. There's a library of 100 different kinds of meals where you're just subtracting the kind of meals that you want in your meal plans, because that's easy for you to get the amount of full energy to be able to work on this project, and especially after work, so you can be able to play with your kids, go traveling, and just being able to go to the networking events, talk with these clients. And maybe you also want to have taking pictures of yourself that you want to feel proud of, or just you seeing yourself in the mirror every single day and you want to love what you see. If you don't love what you see in the mirror and pictures and feeling embarrassed, and you don't want to go out and travel with your friends and family, you need to put your shit together, because at the end of the day, the longer you are waiting, the more unhealthy you will get, the more high blood pressure, maybe diabetes too, and probably that you're not able to keep up with your kids because you don't have the stamina to do that. So that's like the third meal that I've been sharing with you that I really enjoy. I would love to know, what is your biggest takeaway from the video so far? Just comment below and let me know. You're mostly an ambitious professional man who's been told by your doctor that you need to put your shit together and start losing weight because you're just the most unhealthiest version of yourself. And the reason why you've been yo-yo dieting all over like for decades is because you are not able to sustain this meal plan that you are having. You are most likely just hopping on meal plans after meal plans and trying to be on a diet, but it's not going to help you. So what I'm going to share with you is like the third or fourth meal, because if you're eating a 3 or 4th meal, that's going to help you a lot. So what I'm eating as for example, with my family, I am usually eating sweet potatoes. That could be 200 grams of sweet potatoes that I've been weighing before I am putting into the oven. I don't put anything on top of it. So after I've been doing that, then I'm also having some fish on the side. It could be some cod, like 200 grams of cod, or more salmon, or for example a piece of ribeye steak. That is very delicious, because if you're eating smaller meals, you're not able to put in all the great food because you don't have a lot of calories to work for. But if you're eating fewer meals, like 3-4 meals, you are able to, let's say you have 2,300 calories or 600 calories, and your maintenance calories is, for example, 3,000. You are able to eat a lot more great foods if you're eating fewer meals. And you're only able to do that if you're doing intermittent fasting, where you are fasting 16 hours a day and have an eating window of 8 hours where you're eating everything. So this last meal, I'm eating a ribeye steak, for example, or just a lean piece of steak, and then the 200 grams of sweet potato yams, and I have some either ketchup or barbecue sauce on the side, and I have like a mixed salad. There could be green salad, some peppers, green peppers. It could be maize or corn. It's called corn in English. And then that's just a great meal for me to consume, because in a ribeye steak or a lean flank steak, that's like 200-300 grams of lean meat, and sometimes it can be high in calories, sometimes low, depending on what kind of steak that you are picking. And the sweet potato jam is, for example, also high in fiber, and it's very delicious because it's like sweetness. So that's really what I'm enjoying. And I'm always having like a bag of sweet potato that I've been having. So I'm boiling it most of the day. Sometimes I'm boiling 500 grams of sweet potato, because then I have for several days, and then I'm of course weighing it before I'm cooking it, so I know exactly how many calories there are in each of these sweet potatoes. And that is like 6 p.m. where I'm doing that. And the reason why I've been wanting to switch up my meal plans is because I used to eat the same foods all the time, and eventually it's just very bland, and it makes it very difficult to stick to your weight loss diet. And if you are just feeling that you are not having any idea of what to eat, I understand it. It's very difficult, because if you are gaining a lot of weight and it makes you feel less confident, and you're aging way faster because you're just eating a lot of junk food, and you maybe don't even know what healthy foods should be to be able to stick to a long-term sustainable diet. I think that this video is going to be very helpful for you. And I know that you shouldn't make it too difficult to stick to a diet, because if you are having too many ingredients, it makes it difficult to buy all these ingredients in the supermarket. So I'm trying to keep my weight loss plan very, very simple, because I'm trying to eat 90% of the foods that I really enjoy. And the last meal of the day is like 9 p.m. before I'm going to bed. I usually eat like some Greek yogurt with high protein, and then some berries. It could be blueberries, because it gets that sweetness from the blueberries that makes it easier for me to just indulge. And yeah, that's basically just my meal plan one that I've been utilizing for so many years now. And of course, I'm sometimes switching out the meals. Instead of the last meal with eating, for example, sweet potato jams, I'm eating maybe pasta bologna with some lean ground beef and some tomato sauce that is also low in calories and high in fiber. And I'm also using just regular ketchup, because I usually have a lot of calories to use when I'm trying to eat. And that is also something that I really recommend you guys, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're eating things that you really enjoy, and there's also suggestions of what you should eat, so you are able to stick to the meal plans. Because I know that if you are following these tips into the diet of yours and switching it up and down, it's going to be helpful. For example, if you are hitting weight loss plateaus and you're already knowing that your meal plan is solid, but you are not losing 1 to 2 pounds more, so in the MyFitnessPal, you're able to reduce the amount of calories with just removing like 20 grams of like maybe pasta, and then the whole meal plan is going to be reduced by 100 or 200 grams calories. And then that is like the first thing that you do to overcome weight loss plateaus. And then you also have the 6,000 steps that you're doing every single day. Then you put it up to 8,000 steps instead of 4 cardio sessions a week on a stationary bike with a heart rate of 120, you're upping it up to 5 cardio sessions. So if you are expanding even more calories, you're burning even more calories, and you're overcoming your weight loss plateaus. And I know that if you really want to be able to stop losing and gain the same weight and starting over all the time, you just need to stick to a weight loss plan that you really enjoy, and you have 2 meal plans that you can switch between. So if you want to lose the weight for good and become the most healthiest version of yourself, just like you saw with me and my client transformation in the beginning of the video, there's a link in the description in the comment section where you can apply for coaching with me, and we'll see if you and I are fit to work together.